Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone, and welcome to your number one source for Native American television news, Native News Today. I'm your host, Jason Salzman, here in the Muskogee Media Studios, welcoming you into what should be a very good program. We can't wait to show you all what we've been doing this week. Lots of things going on out there in Creek Country, lots of stories to tell and talk about storytelling. We have got a treat today. One of our esteemed elders here in the Muskogee Creek Nation, Mr. Sam Proctor. Everybody knows Sam. Loves hearing him talk, and that's just what we did. We went and let him talk to us, tell us stories, a little bit about his childhood, some of the things that he remembers that are funny, and some of the lessons in life that he was passed from his mother that he wants everybody to know about. So we had a great chance to go over and sit with him in his living room. Can't wait to show you that. Also, we went to Kingfisher. It's a ways away, but we wanted to go check out the Chisum Trail Museum and a great exhibit going on there from a Creek citizen. So all of that, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We believe if you teach a man to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. We believe that transitioning convicted citizens back into our communities enhances public safety. We believe that every citizen, even ex-prisoners, are important and are capable of change. We believe in reclaiming our citizens and investing them back into a culture that embraces healing and restoration.
We believe
in reintegration.
Looking for your next 18-hole adventure? Then take a look at Fountainhead Creek Golf Club. Nestled in the beautiful confines of Lake Eufaula State Park, large sloping greens and well-placed bunkers characterize the Muskogee Creek Nation's Floyd Farley designed course and offers a fine test of skill for any golfer. Stay up on all the latest gear and equipment with a visit to our pro shop. Have lunch at the turn at the Clubhouse Grill. We're waiting to accommodate you at Fountainhead Creek. Give us a call at 918-689-3209 or visit fountainheadgolf.com to book your next round. Fountainhead Creek Golf Club, close to home, far from ordinary. And welcome back with us here on Native News Today. As we get started with our features for this week, brings us to Kingfisher, Oklahoma, the Chisum Trail Museum there. A good friend of mine from high school actually is the curator-director there, but one of our Creek citizens actually gifted to that museum an exhibit that he has been working on. He's actually, educated in going into museum studies. So one of his exhibits that he did for his education wanted to gift it to the museum, and it is military uniforms of the 20th century. The exhibit is called Stars on Their Shoulders. Mr. T.S. Akers, he is our Muskogee Creek citizen and the donor of this exhibit. He has had a fascination with military from even when he was a child, and now collecting these uniforms, actually collected the uniform in this exhibit of one of our Muskogee Creek veterans, Otwa T. Autry. So talks a little bit about him and the exhibit in this story. We hope you enjoy it as much as we did going to visit.
So this exhibit is an evolutionary history of uniforms of the American Army and Air Force, starting with dress blues that can trace their origins back to Washington's Continentals, through service uniforms that came into existence in World War I through the 50s, into existence still today, obviously. Combat uniforms, which changed immensely from the First World War to the Second through the Persian Gulf. A brief inclusion of the creation of the U.S. Air Force in 1947, and we closed the exhibition with dinner uniforms highlighting the formality of some Army functions. So General Otwa T. Autry, he was born in Anadarko. He was a school teacher in Enid. That was his civilian occupation. He enlisted in the Army in 1924 as a private and rose to the rank of Brigadier General. He served in 8 campaigns in World War II, and he also served in Korea And his career culminated when he became Division Artillery Commander for the 45th Infantry Division, so the famous Thunderbirds. My wife would probably like to see this stop because there's over 30 pieces in the collection and our closet has become full to an extent, our spare closet. When I started collecting it was a matter of, you want to acquire as many things as possible, but today I really focus on pieces that are examples of something I don't already have, and I'm starting to focus more on Oklahomans. So there are 3 Oklahomans in this exhibition, General Autry, General West, and General Thompson. And just a couple of weeks ago, I acquired another uniform of an Oklahoman, General Lawless, who was from Holdenville. So I'm starting to focus more on Oklahomans and again, pieces that are examples of things that I don't have. So I particularly like the blue uniforms. General Autry's uniform is one of the blue uniforms. They're iconic. You look at the old Western films of, like John Ford's Cavalry Trilogy and she wore a yellow ribbon and all that, and you see that same styling, those blue jackets and shoulder straps. So when I bought Autry's uniform, that was actually something that I was thinking about. There's several places that would be great for that. He was inducted in the Oklahoma Military Hall of Fame in 2006. So there's the Oklahoma Historical Society, and then of course the Creek Nation Tribal Complex.
Well, it's fantastic. We can't thank Mr. Akers enough for loaning this exhibit. It's been a wonderful experience. He contacted us about his collection, and we were thrilled to allow it to be on exhibit here, and it'll be on exhibit through May.
And want to thank all the great people there at the Chisum Trail Museum, Adam Lynn, T.S. Akers, for their time and allowing us to come and highlight this great exhibit at a wonderful facility. Well, as I said earlier in the opener, we got to sit down with one of our greatest elders here at Muskogee Creek Nation, Mr. Sam Proctor. Went over to his house, in his living room. We wanted that familiar setting. We wanted him to be able to feel comfortable in us, talk to us, and he was so gracious, always is gracious with us at Muskogee Media. I want to pass that along. They want to talk to us. They want people to come over and that they can talk to and conversate with and share things. And this is just the beginning of a series we're wanting to start here at Muskogee Media and on Native News Today called Elder Conversations. It's really just a series where we're going to be talking to different elders out there. And one of our first ones we wanted to start with, Sam Proctor. He talks about life, being Creek, the Muskogee language, all of it here. It's a little lengthy, but we know you're going to enjoy it. So.
Enga ayui ogira nagi mage in obana edayad ada anjogo biles to hoin nagides pomona itchen Jin hagi jawe beje den boatos chagajak ton dan yeston aleji edin imbonayagan hada nagides aboka yazak no adu mo abohagen oahan london ayui anjejat hilma hil on doen obonaka tjadi imobonaka pumbonaka kanjabi bi alat istinazojin Muskogee imbonaka bonayad hagit und doesen man manabaydehin allergic situation sa zakton man Timasko kagi imbonaka muin ehen la hadi jaziban si ubonaka kitayat Timasko kagi imbonakan man kitaydi don owen jatskalgyo Maskogi imbonaka idan ubonayagin Tizakakayado mo madan Maskogi imbonaka adigusin idimbona ibujolaka didon hayoat jazurin James Rudifki daste man badang man hayoat madibago si dibuhos kilo nama tizakakayat Chawan Dagyo. Excuse me. I imagine the custom, the tradition, and our, how would I say, our way we look. You know, I had one lady, I was in Tallahassee, Florida, and I had kind of, they had called me to come there, and they was having a festival. I took some helpers to go and was going to do storm dance. And after we got through, I was going back to where we were sitting, and some lady stopped me. And he said, of what y'all done is just so good. He said, I would do anything if I could become one like y'all. That's what he said. I'd give anything. But I told her that, you know, it's not us, it's the Creator that has given us this, you know. And so that's why I say that, and I'm sure y'all probably say the same thing. I'm proud to be an Indian. Yeah, that's the way I say it. There was one little boy one time, I was somewhere, I forgot where it was at, but anyway, he said, are you an Indian? That's what he said, he was a little white boy. He said, are you an Indian? And I said, do I look like one? He said, no. I said, why? He said, you don't have no, what did he say? He said something you don't have. I said, well, look at me again. He stared at me a little bit. Oh, yeah. So you sometimes, you know, you get to talk to, but I always have time for even little kid. I have time. That's what Mama said. I said, I'm going to tell you 3 things that you need to abide by, or this. He said, one of them is have love. Always have love. He says, be meek. Be lowly in heart. And if you have these in practice or live that, you will live a long time. I happen to be, I'll be 82 years old next month. No, April. I was born in 1933. in the rural community, it's about 4 miles from Hannah, Oklahoma. The little town of Hannah, 4 miles west. That's where I was born and raised. And just about a quarter of a mile west of where I was born and raised is our ceremonial ground, one of the ceremonial ground, called Muddy Waters. But they told me that where we at, Tallahassee, and Wagogaye, and Dokpavka was of the same farm. Dokpavka was located near Calvin, and Wagogaye was, the way I've heard it, was located close to just before you get to the river. That's what that's the, heard that, or I was told from my uncle. This was the tradition, or I guess you could say the rules of that. And they told me that even if he's a 100-year-old person, when he talks, and the Miko might be 15, 16 years old, when he talks, he said you're supposed to listen to him. That's what they told me. So the Miko is also have to be humble, and I know he is, and have to be humble. Love Ev, it doesn't make any difference. He's the one that looks at the kids. He doesn't want any of them to be sick. So he has to go out and talk to the medicine man so that he could prepare the medicine for them to use. Well, to me, of course, I've never had this happen to me, and to me, I feel like that I'm not. You know what I'm saying? There are better ones out there. I think it was Dan. I told him I was just a little guy. But, you know, and then we'll have to look at it. The Creator is the one that has something to do with that. You know, when something like that, I give him all the credit. I give him all the credit. When I was growing up, one of the things that I hated the most was to make a book report. And when you make during that time when you make a book report, you have to say it in oral. That's why I hated to stand in front of well, it was just the students, but yet I didn't want to do that. That was sort of kind of, I don't know how you would put it, but that feeling that I had went away. I was in Albany, Georgia. They gave me time to talk, and those that were listening was over 2,000 people in that place, Albany, Georgia. They used to have a big powwow. I mean, not powwow, but celebration there. And that was close to Chia, the name of the ground. I believe it was close to that. So now, when they ask me, I get up there. First thing I know, I'm already. The word just comes to me as the way. So I said, well, maybe I don't want that education there. I got enough knowledge. They used to raise cotton, and I used to pick cotton there. They used to raise onions. I used to top the onions. The only experience or only thing that I had was labor, doing labor work, like hoeing cotton and picking cotton, thrashing peanuts. That just, I guess you call that, but during that time in that area. But it's only took, while we haven't, how would you say, as far as getting the money, that was just during the fall for a little while. So then after that, we had to do without. I was born and raised, maybe not hardly a quarter of a mile from the school where I started. And Mama used to make me a lunch, and I was just little ways, big old gallon bucket, And one time, have you ever eaten blue bread? Have you had that? How about you? Yeah. How about you? You don't know what blue bread is.
I make some pretty good blue bread.
But yeah. But that's what he would make. She would make lunch, blue bread, and maybe hominy or beans and salt meat, and put that in there. And they got to where they were little white boys were my neighbors across the road from me. I got this white looked in my lunch bucket, and that's just about all we had. And finally, they bring like bologna and stuff like that. So, let us trade with you. I said, okay. I bet. So I traded a bologna sandwich for blue bread. and then another incident that happened. Like I say, sometimes when I'm just sitting here looking at the four walls, I think about what took place, and that was having a big, sometimes they would community would get together and bring covered dish, and have a big dinner for 4th of July or different things. And they was having it at our place. And they just started they just started in line. They was all in line, getting their plate full, and by the time a car came up and coming in from the road and the driveway, and they hollered at me, said, "Go over there and invite them to come and eat." So I went over there, and these two guys had suits on. I mean, they're all dressed up. Said, well, they giving you, and they want you to come and eat with them because they just started. I said, okay. They was really glad about, being invited. So they come over there, and one of them was walking in front of him. The other one was talking, and I noticed, I was standing there, I was happy pouring drinks, and I noticed because we had plates and stuff on this end. The food was that. I see. First thing I seen him do was get that blue dumplings, and the next thing he grabbed 2 slices of light bread, put it in there, and made a sandwich out of it. He took a bite of it and said, "Boy, this sandwich is so good." He was eating nothing but bread. I started to laugh, but I said, no, I better laugh. My mama will get on to me about that. So, but that was a lot of times, you see, so, but if it was anybody else, and if he was Muskogee Creek, he wouldn't do that. That's about all I can tell y'all about that. Of course, I could, have some more, but that's kind of a way they used to tell one another, the older people, when they gather around, and sometimes they used to come and they used to come and tell each other stories, I guess, and sit around the fireplace if it's in winter time, and tell each other. They wasn't in a hurry going home. Yeah.
And there you have it. There's another episode of Native News Today. We want to thank the people that made it happen this week. Sam Proctor, of course, David Proctor facilitating that interview there. Dana Tiger actually with us there. And she did a portrait of Sam, painting of Sam. And so they're very close. She goes through a lot of his appearances. And Sam will be getting that Circle of Honor Award at the Tulsa City County Library this next Saturday. I believe it's March 5th there in Tulsa. So check that out. Definitely want to go up there. And if you want to honor him, he would love to have you. Welcomes all the people that love to come see that. Of course, very humble, doesn't want to take too much credit, says there's a lot of other people deserving. We know Sam is very much deserving, so congratulations to him once again and the whole Proctor family. Well, everybody out there, we don't got much time left, so check us out on our YouTube channel, check us out on our Facebook page and our Twitter, our Instagram, and be looking for the launch of the new MuskogeeMedia.com coming very, very soon. You all have a great week. We'll see you next time.